Hey, 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 hey. How y'all doing? How are you doing? It is the day after Christmas, so I hope you had a happy holiday with your friends, your family, all of your loved ones. Hope you enjoyed your day. And so here we are again. Excuse me, good people. Here we are again on another Tuesday. We got some things we need to talk about. There's some things we need to talk about because there's things we've been talking about all year. We have been. We've been talking about so many different things. If you want to go ahead and jump in the comments and tell me where you are from, go ahead and do that. Comment where you're from. South Carolina, North Carolina. We have people up in Philly. I've got people from so many different places who are out here, who are watching and who are listening. And I want y'all to know where each other are from. I got a lot of my homeboys, my homegirls in here. A lot of people from Flowtown, a lot of people from South Carolina. So I'm always happy about that. Always. Yes, I am. But listen, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about those 2023 internet conversations. What have we been talking about? And what do we need to stop talking about? Maybe we can talk about some of those things. Maybe we could. Maybe we should. I know you know. And all of you out there right now, you see where you can find me. I'm on all of these platforms. I'm out here in these streets. You can find me, Miss Tanya TV. I'm bringing a whole lot of different things to you, and I'm going to bring a whole lot more to you in the coming year. So many exciting things that I've been able to do in 2023, and I'm really happy about that. And I want all of us to share that with each other. Go ahead and let me know in the comments too, like what are some of those things that you were able to accomplish in 2023 that you feel really good about? Some of those new things that maybe you started something that you weren't sure about, you were a little skeptical about, and you just went ahead and you dove in and you were able to accomplish that. Put those in the comments. And also, what are some of the things that you think you might want to do in 2024? What are some of those things? Maybe there's somebody else out here like you. Maybe there's somebody who can give you some little tips. I see we got Keep Your Faith with Tori in the chat. Y'all tell Tori hello. Everybody give Tori some love. She says hi to me. Tori is, she's a little bit under the weather, guys. Tori has the flu, so we want to wish her well. It's no fun being sick during the holiday season. It's just no fun. It's no fun being sick anytime, but particularly this time of the year. So let's send her a whole bunch of love, y'all. Wish her well. All right. You know, she's over there in Darlington, D-Town, so we want her to feel better. All right. We got Precious Pearl in here with us. She says hello and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you, lady. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. All right, guys. So you can find me. You see right here. You see it real big. You see it real clear. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Subscribe. Want to build my people up there too. I absolutely do. There's a whole lot going on there. And in the new year, there's going to be things that you're only going to see there. And there's going to be things that, hey, you're only going to see here. That's right. There's going to be things that you're going to see here. We're going to start some subscriptions. There's a lot that's going to be going on with the Brown South Girls podcast. You know that? All right. Brown South Girls out here in these internet streets. We had a whole lot of fun this year as well. So we'll talk a bit about that. The last Sunday is coming up, but the last Sunday happens to be on New Year's Eve. So I don't know necessarily if you guys want to do something on New Year's Eve. I'll probably have to take a vote. Maybe I'll put up a little poll or something sometime this week and see who wants to join. Should we do it? Should we? I don't know. Maybe we can. And let's see. Precious Pearl in here. She says, feel better, Tori. And I think she's saying that for all of us. I certainly want you to feel better. And she sends a big, big thanks to you. She said, thanks for the love. The flu is doing her dirty. You know, there's some remedies out here. Use some of those old school remedies. I can't tell you if it's true. This is not medical advice, but in those old days, one of your aunts, your grandmas or somebody, they tell you to slice up some onion, get you some like little thick cuts, put them jammies in your socks. Okay. On the bottom of your feet, put them in your socks. Go ahead and get in bed, go to sleep, you know what I'm saying? Draw some of that stuff off your chest, get some of that cold and stuff out of you. Now, you know what I'm saying? But you go to the doctors, they give you your little meds, they tell you what to do. Do what you need to do. Seek the professional medical help. But it worked for some people. I ain't gonna start no trouble. You know what I'm saying? But do what you gotta do to feel better, and we're rooting for you. Now, what are some of the things we need to be talking about? What are some of the things that you guys wanna talk about? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Uh, Here we go. Here's one that I was thinking about, and this out right now. Simone Biles' husband, Mr. They're calling him Mr. Simone Biles, but let's respect the man, and what is his name? Before I try to let me look this up. I forgot his name, y'all. Forgive me. I know him like most of us, Simone Biles' husband. Let's see, what is his name here? Jonathan Owens. All right, Jonathan Owens. You guys hear what's going on with them? Anybody hear what's going on? Anybody want to make a little comment about that? It seems like he kind of, they say he embarrassed her on a particular podcast. He was on the Pivot podcast, and uh it seems like he pretty much alluded to the fact that Simone shot her shot and went after him. Which, I mean, I imagine there's nothing wrong with that. She's a woman and there are women out here who shoot their shot. They know what they want. They go after it. But it seems to me that it was done in a not so tasteful way. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go over to the Pivot podcast and you need to watch it. If you do have an idea of what I'm talking about, I want to know what you think. We got somebody in here who telling you, Tori, to invest in a juicer. Come on, let her know. Desire, let her know. Juice a little bit. Just a little bit. And I also see Tori saying, tell me because I don't know. Tori, I'm surprised you haven't seen it. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. People are out here talking so much about the fact that he pretty much is saying that he's the prize. That he was the prize. And I don't know how that sounds to you, but if you're married to someone, you're a man, and I'm not at all thinking that you shouldn't feel good about yourself that you're, you know, wanted in this relationship, but just the way that he spoke, it didn't come off good. It didn't come off good. I don't want to tell you guys too much until I get some people in here who really want to talk about it because I don't want to just like push my thoughts on it. I want to have a conversation, you know? That's what we do here. We get in here and we have conversations. So if there's somebody out there who wants to make some comments about what they think about Simone Biles and her husband and what he had to say, let me know. We also were talking about in these internet streets, we were talking about the Cheesecake Factory. And it was about more than just the Cheesecake Factory. When it comes down to it, I feel like 2023, we had so many conversations that were really men versus women. So many of those conversations. And I don't know how you guys feel, but me personally, that's one that I feel like we can leave in 2023 because I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. Even with this Simone Biles story a little bit, that whole red pill, blue pill, who's the prize, who chase who, powerful women, powerful men. Like all of our stories seem to center around that. What are we doing? Are we concentrating on loving each other? Does that even matter anymore? Do we know how to approach relationships when it comes to men and women or men approaching women in a way that uh how can I say this? Because everything's so sensitive now. It's almost like you can't even say anything. You're hurting men's feelings. I don't I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Somebody let me know. Other things we've talked about, I'm just gonna rattle off a few things. I've got my notes here. We talked this year about Will and Jada, okay? And that was a huge conversation we got into. Cassie and Diddy right now. Diddy's in here. We got conversation going on about TD Jakes. Whole lot of different conversations. Where are you guys at? How you doing, William? Good to have you in the building. Good morning to you. Well, I don't know where you're at, but tell me where you're at since you're saying morning, because where I'm at is 12 noon, so it's afternoon. So I want to tell you good afternoon, but if it's morning where you are, good morning. Thank you for joining us. But tell me where are you? Where you at? Where you at in this morning? All right. But a lot of things. Will and Jada, Cassie, Diddy, Jakes, Red Pill, Blue Pill. Conversation all over the place. Cheesecake Factory. Where can a man take a girl on a date? Where she won't go. Crazy stuff, you know? How you doing, Jennifer? Good to have you in the building. NYC, New York City in the building. What's some of the conversations, Jennifer, that has been going on in these internet streets that you feel like, hey, we talked a lot about this. We talked a whole lot about it. This is what I feel about it. I'm tired of talking about it. What are some things you want to stop talking about? Here's another topic here. Christian Keys. Now, he called out, some things going on with powerful men in the industry. The industry is getting a huge, huge blow. And I don't necessarily, maybe I shouldn't say a huge blow. I think a lot of people are beginning to see and hear about some of the things going on in the industry that you had no idea about. You had no idea, but you are now seeing that people are dirty all over the place. People being taken advantage of all over the place. It happens in corporate America. It happens even in listen, you could be working at Wendy's and your manager could be doing inappropriate things. But just that power dynamic of the person who was your boss and being using their power to advance with you or try to advance with you. That happens. It happens in the real world. So it's happening in Hollywood too. And people are beginning to share and tell their stories, and we've been seeing it. That's what we're seeing now. That's what we're hearing with the Cassie story. That's what we're hearing with Christian Keys' story. And they're out here and they're telling you what's going on. And some people believe it. Some people feel like they don't want to believe it. But I got to tell you something. These questions that often come up is like, well, why didn't you say something sooner? And if you haven't been in a situation, in a compromising situation, you have to understand that everybody doesn't process things the same. So while you might have people who are going to get out here and they're going to expose the name. Yeah, they fought somehow to be able to do that. But there are people who are not able to do that. That is why there is a window for a statute of limitation, because they know that everyone is not able to process that way. It's kind of like the same way that you can't tell people how to grieve. There's a grieving process, but people have their own grieving process. Right? So the fact that these people are out here and they're sharing their stories, let's be respectful of it. And as it relates to Christian Keys, I think so many people are caught up into who he's talking about. And then we're throwing names out in these internet streets trying to figure out who he's talking about and who's that person who tried to take advantage of him. And we are missing the larger story of like, this is happening. Women had a Me Too movement, and it happens to men too. And I feel like for some of the men who look at women who have gone through this within the industry and they say, well, these women didn't talk. Now all of a sudden they want to say something after so many years. And you pretend like you didn't get it. And now we have a man We have a heterosexual presenting man who's come out and he's sharing his story years later after the statute of limitation. So now that you can see that, you know, people process differently. It's not as easy as you think. It absolutely isn't. I see we got Ty Davis in the house with us. In that 843 South Carolina, how you doing? Always good to have you in the building, sir. Good to have you. Happy holidays to you and your lovely family. All right. How you doing, Jamesa? Good morning to you as well. I see we got Precious Pearl here. She says, I am so out of it when it comes to these pop culture topics. I'm worried what these powers that be are doing in our schools, okay, municipalities, and government. I've been pretty clueless on both fronts. You know what? I'm very happy that you brought that up, that you brought this up. I'm going to leave your comment up for a minute because you're right. There's so many topics within the pop culture that we're talking about on these internet streets, and there are things going on in our neighborhoods, in our school districts, in our on our council that are definitely more important and definitely should be topics of conversation that we should be having, things that we should be talking about politically, because with all of these pop culture things, like I'm aware that there are things that people want to talk about. They they're not necessarily the conversation that I always want to have, and they're not necessarily the conversation that I have in terms of the I'm not so interested in the gossip part of the conversation. I'm more interested in the lesson that we might be able to learn from the conversation. Like, where does this topic take us in terms of a conversation that we can have where there might be something we can learn, there might be something that we can share, particularly when it comes to our young people, because we've got young people who are always going into entertainment industry, going into corporate America, any industry that they go in, any industry that there's a power dynamic in, they need to hear this. They need to know how to deal with it so they're not, surprised by like, hey, did this person just say that if I do such and such, I might be. They need to know. They need to know. But I agree with you because we can't eat off of these topics. All of these hot button topics, they're not feeding our families. They're not helping us build better communities necessarily, or at least our immediate communities, because a lot of us are not in that lifestyle. We're hearing about it. The internet makes us feel like we're a part of everything because there's so many, we can look these things up. They put it in our face. So thank you for sharing that with us. I see we got Jennifer here. She said, Will and Jada for sure also were to go on dates. Yeah, Will and Jada, that whole conversation that we got into, that was a lot, as it relates to what's going on. People talk about the gossip of it a lot. But I'm sure with all of the things, everything has like a cycle. So for as quickly as you can get invested into one of these stories that has to do with a star or a musician or whatever the case may be, another one just pops right up. So I'm sure they were very happy when the Casey story came out because it took them out of that light. So now people on Casey and Diddy. Then Casey and Diddy, that's kind of out there, and now we've got Christian Keys. We got him out there. They're trying to throw other people in there. They're trying to throw Tyler Perry in there. They're trying to throw T.D. Jakes in there. And I don't know because none of us know any of these people. But I can tell you this, whether we know these individuals or not, we're watching a lot of their works. I can tell you this, you do know someone like them. Because if you haven't worked in such an environment, you probably have a friend or someone who has. And some of you, and this is a very hard truth, but some of you have family members who have done some of these things. It could be your very own father, your uncles, your grandfathers, your anybody who is supposed to be taking care of you, but there's a power dynamic and they're doing inappropriate things. So it happens. So you know about it, and that's and to tell you the truth, that's why these stories appeal to so many people and they trigger you in so many ways. You hear these things that are happening to people that are not right, and you can identify with it just in your own circumstances and different details. So that, for me, is why we should be having these conversations so that people know how to get help so that they know, "Hey, this isn't just happening to you." And then they need to know that, if you didn't tell, you didn't process it yet, you get to take your time. You get to go get help at any time that you wanna get help, and you get to tell whenever you feel like you're comfortable to tell. You do get to do that. So don't let anyone shame you. And for all of these people who are doing these type of things, I think a very big lesson here is you never know when your time is gonna be up. Like, there's a saying in the old folks would say, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this before, but, what is done in the dark will come to light. So, for however long you feel like you've been getting away with something, well, your time might be up very soon. All of those little dirty deeds. Stop being that way. Stop doing that to people. That's what it's like. All right. I see we got Stacy in here. How you doing, Stacy Hawkins? How are you? Happy holidays. Haven't heard from you in a very, very long time. Hope you are doing well. She says, "Good afternoon from New York City. Didn't know you were in New York now. Or if I did know, I forgot. But hope you're having a good holiday. I remember my days in New York City. I love living there. And for a lot of these stories that we're hearing right now, I know a lot of them to be true because I did dip my toe in that industry in some younger days. Um, so because I didn't go as far or what people would consider that as a career, um, but it was for a lot of the same reasons of the things that we're hearing now. The casting couch was very real. I know it. I am so grateful, and I thank God all the time because I've gotten out of some very compromising, sticky, icky situations that we're hearing about right now from a lot of these stars. And I really did feel like, when I did go to New York, I got to tell you, things were happening for me pretty fast once I moved into the actual city, you know. And what I was finding out though, I was becoming more disappointed in things that I was seeing more so than the what should I say? More so than the work and the jobs that I could get and that I was being offered. It's just the way that it was being offered. I really felt like I was being pimped. And I did quite a few things. I did some things in the fashion industry. I'm not really here to talk about that in the detail because I became more disappointed in the industry than I was fascinated with the industry. And I never talked about it. And some of the things that we're hearing now that are so dramatically have happened to people, I'm happy to say that those things did not happen to me like that, but I was in situations where those things were introduced to me, where, things could have been worse, and I've gotten like I said, I'm very grateful that I've gotten out of a couple situations that were really dangerous for me, you know? So I know, but I overall felt like the business was pimping me. I did. And then I began to find my tribe of independent filmmakers, which was a little bit different. So that's how I kind of got into media and how I've done so many things in media now within my career. But I've done it on local basis and independent films and I loved it. I found my tribe because really for me, I was trying to get into filmmaking on the other side. It's just that when I went to New York, modeling and being in front of the camera was getting me in front of doors. I mean, was getting me through doors that rather than learning film because I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to break into that. But I did, and I worked my way through there. I wanted to work my way through there, not sleep my way through there. And so, I know all of these things to be true. Some of these people that I've seen things in the news, hmm, some of you guys stars, like, I know some of them. I was in New York in the '90s. I was there. I know the propositions, and I got my way out of there. I got my way out, and I'm grateful for that. I see Kimberly Sinclair, she's over in LA. She said, "I'm tapping in on Simone Biles. I saw it, and I sense a bit of insecurities on his behalf. It's almost as if he doesn't want to be overshadowed by her. So he had to make it known. It didn't even wait. I didn't even know who she was. She was pressing me, which me too seems a bit weird. He didn't want to seem in love and in awe of her. It was more important to him to feel like the chosen one." Y'all read that and let's speak on that a little bit. A lot of crazy conversations we've had in 2023. This is one of the newer ones, and this one's kind of crazy. I agree with what you're saying here, Kimberly. I'm gonna read through that again. So I agree with you. He did make it seem like he didn't want her to overshadow him. When I watched and I heard it, I heard a lot of insecurities. Number one, because he wasn't drafted. So I feel like that was one of his insecurities. He went to a school that wasn't really a major school. Um, in the podcast, immediately the guys were kind of asking him like, "Where was this school?" So so they kind of, hit him there, a little insecurity. Uh he didn't make the team. He made the practice. He was on the practice team for 3 years. And so not making the team in the NFL, I mean, he does have his insecurities. And to me, with him being her husband, I feel what you're saying where he didn't wanna make it seem like he was in awe of her, which is ridiculous, because one of the things that I did find interesting is instead of him talking about something, they were on an app that not just anyone can get on, okay? So, this is like an app for, high profile people. So anybody that, came across or liked whoever liked who first, we don't know. They really know the truth, but whoever liked who first, one thing you do know that it is someone they've been vetted. They're on this app for a reason. So they are someone. So if he's saying he didn't know who she was, okay, say what you want. But I thought that was a little disrespectful. I would want to put, my mate in a good light personally. I felt like he could have made that story a little better. But does he say, I saw her, I thought she had a beautiful smile, or I thought her eyes were beautiful. Okay, he didn't have to know who she was, but he clicked on her and liked, and they realized that they were a match for a reason. But did he say, you know, I just saw her eyes. I thought she was really, beautiful. Something about her eyes sparked me, or something about her smile. No, this grown ass young man actually said he saw the number of followers she had. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. So that right there said a lot to me. So it almost sounds like, or it makes me question, it would make me question, is he even attracted to me? He doesn't even say anything nice about me at all. Now, this is my husband now, and he doesn't even lift me up in that way. So, I understand why people say that there's red flags there. You trying to tell me you decided to really take the interest further based on the amount of followers that she has? Wow. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Did anybody else hear that besides me? What do y'all think? I see William Stoops in here. He says a lot of ladies don't think this stuff happens to men, but it definitely does. And what he's talking about men being taken advantage of. We're just going to flip back and forth based on the comments here. He's talking about Christian Keys, who is exposing that powerful men in the industry are taking advantage of them too. It does. He also spoke about, and I don't know if many people have listened to this part of it because they're so fixated on the fact that he's being taken advantage of a powerful man. But he also talked about a woman who took advantage of him as well, who would just walk up to him and just grab his junk. Like, how disrespectful is that? Very. A woman in the industry, just making advances on them. Who wants someone to just come up to them and grab their private parts? I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And for the way that women are largely taken advantage of, it's a little disheartening to know that women are out here doing it. But let's be real. Women are out here doing it. This is happening to men. There is a men me too. Okay? I see Tyler saying definitely fruit in the lesson. There is. All of these conversations get a little crazy, but there are lessons here. In all of these, whichever specific conversation he's talking about, all of them have lessons. All right. How you doing, Harry? I see we got Harry in here. He says, truth. Truth. That's, man, we can only, a lot of the times we're giving our opinions, and a lot of times it's my truth. And we give our opinions and it's our truth. Sometimes we got to realize that a couple things can be true at the same time. I see we got Stacy here. She said, let's talk about the casting couches. All right. The predator should absolutely be held accountable. But no one talks about the parents of these underage children who were on these couches. Where is their accountability? Well, number one, the casting couch is very, very real. Like I said, I personally know that the casting couch is real in New York City in the 90s. Whole lot of my stars, entertainers, musicians who I went, and you could say, I'm not a starry-eyed person, but I'll just say, okay, I went there starry-eyed in a kind of way, but there were people who I was aware of who they were. I was aware of their work. And then being in parties with them and being in places with them, I realized I didn't like their character. I also realized very quickly, and I was telling my daughter this recently, I said, I was in my early 20s, younger than what she is now. I said, and I realized how extremely well my mother prepared me to be in that city, which really was dangerous. It really, it really was. And it's let's be honest. But you got to know how to carry yourself and handle yourself. And no one is going for this. When someone asks you to be a part of a project and you go to, they want to meet with you, and when they close that door behind them, you think you're going in there to talk about the particular project. You don't think that, I've got to sleep with you or do certain things or compromise myself for that. You don't. And it's basically not me. I'm going in there, I'm thinking like, hey, we're going to talk about this project. I could be excited about it. And then I realized, whoa, I don't think I was here for this. And then me, I've got to quickly think of like, how can I get myself out of here? And I've had to think myself and talk my way out of closed rooms. I've had to do that. So that's how I tell you that I know it's real. And that's also how, like I said, I got disappointed with the industry. And I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone why I decided to somewhat change career paths in those respects. Because there's a lot of things I could have done. There's a lot of things I turned down. I've had lots of great opportunities, but I did not like it. And this takes me back to what I was about to tell you, the conversation I had with my daughter, is I realized that my mother prepared me so much for that dangerous place that I went to, and I didn't even know it. Because she had already told me, wherever you go someplace, don't take a drink from anyone. If you ever not see your drink being poured, don't take it. If you have to go to the bathroom, do not leave your drink, and if you do not drink it when you get back. One thing, uh, not to compromise myself or go any place alone. Now, we all know that sometimes our parents are gonna tell us things, but we're gonna do some things and we're gonna end up in some places and situations that is not the best situation to be in, you know? And then I had such a pride for myself. Like, I just would not be a part of a project if I had to sleep with a director or producer or like, no, I'm not interested. I don't like I'm not that hungry. I'm not. I didn't really wanna be famous. I wanted to learn the industry. I wanted to learn how to make movies, but I thought at the time that I thought the stages was you gotta act and I could get on some sets and get on scenes and, like, kinda work my way and figure things out. So that's why I was going that route, and I detoured. So I was in it for a minute, did some things that were pretty cool, had some pretty cool opportunities, and I hit the road jack, I hit the road jack, alright? But what you're saying, Stacy, those casting couches are real. Now, as it relates to underage kids, just like how I tell you, like, I didn't know that those were the situations that I was gonna be in, a lot of their parents didn't know it. I can't imagine a parent would actually want to put their kid in that situation, and by the time you do find out the type of situation that your kid may have been in, it could be late. I pray for most that it isn't, but it's wild out here, and I don't know how much has changed. It doesn't sound like a whole lot has changed, but I do like the fact that with all of this stuff that is being exposed and with what the internet does is make us feel like we know so many different things. So it puts it out there so you can be a lot more aware. If we're gonna learn anything from it, we can see that. You gotta be careful. And also it's letting these directors, it's letting these people who are in these positions know that, hey, people are gonna tell you, listen, you get ready to be put out there. You get ready to go to jail. All of this stuff that you've been doing, you're not getting ready to get away with it anymore. So, if for nothing else, if for nothing else, that's one of the better reasons. All right. All right. I see my lady in here. How are you doing, Mazella? She says power dynamic toxicity is real and it is a necessary topic to be discussed. It is. It absolutely is. Like I said, for the very reason that people are being exposed, it could stop some of these people. And when you think about it, like a lot of these directors and a lot of these, I don't want to just say directors, but whatever the power dynamic is, a lot of these people who find themselves in this power, what I noticed is a lot of the times it's like some of these like nerdy reject people in high school, junior high school, and now they're in a position of power and they wanna use it, so now this is their way of getting women, getting beautiful women or people who they wouldn't have in their dating pool, and now they're taking advantage of it. Serious. And that same little, that little nerdy guy who got no attention, that little nerdy person got no attention, and now they're just using that. And a lot of that is happening with this whole red pill, blue pill thing too. These same guys who wasn't getting the dates, now all of a sudden they got a little team. They got people who on this team with them. So they bonded. And they got everybody in this whole men versus women dynamic. We gotta stop letting nerdy ass people, you know, do this to us. Think about this. We letting people who could not get the dates. You hear what I'm saying? People who could not pull the other people. Make us feel like love isn't real. Make us feel like we can't relate to each other, like we don't know how to have relationships and talk to each other. Stop believing this stuff. That's one of the things that I kinda really wanna leave in 2023. I wanna leave that red pill, blue pill, that men versus women crap like that. If you don't take your nerdy self somewhere and sit down and get over it. Okay, so you're grown up now. Well, use yourself for good. It's love out here for everybody. You holding on to high school hate. It's ridiculous. I see we got Kelly, Mr. Pettyville Bosick in the building. How you doing, man? Good to have you in the house. Saw you out in Charlotte this weekend. Saw you out in Charlotte at the Color Purple premiere on the carpet. I saw you out there. Looking real dapper, had on your purple turtleneck, your suit. Saw you there with Fantasia and her brother. Cool, cool people. Good people. Um, we got to talk about that movie, man. We got to talk. Anybody else saw the movie? I went and saw the movie yesterday, right? I saw the movie actually before we had dinner. My daughter and my nephew and I, we decided to go. We went at I think it was like the noon show. And so before we ate dinner, my mom was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and we were up. We'd already opened up the Christmas gifts, done all of those good things, and dinner was being prepared. And we was like, you know what? Let's go see the movie before we eat dinner. And so we made a really good decision. And I saw the movie. I got to tell you guys, that's a whole conversation that we have. But if there's somebody who want to talk about it, get in here and talk about that too. All right. Precious Pearl said, I guess he was just being honest. Hopefully he made a real connection later. Bring me back. What are you talking about with that? Because I done talked about so many things now. I don't even know what that is in reference to. I guess he was being honest. Hopefully he made a real connection later. I don't know. Also, we got Kelly here. He's saying, truthfully, that's a turnoff. It happens, and at that point, if that's the first impression you make, then we look at you as a one-nighter. And he is talking about women who actually aggressively go up to men, and she's groping him. What? And how do you even consider yourself a lady if you just gonna go up to a man and grab his junk? Okay, find him attractive. Yes, but how do you just like instantly sexualize him? Like where is your mind? And why would you do that? And why do you not think that is disrespectful? I don't know what's wrong with you. Some of y'all out here, but I'm glad these men telling on y'all too. They should. Kimberly says, I think he's talking about Simone's husband. Oh, okay. Okay. So you're saying, you guess he was being honest about her going after him, and hopefully he made a real connection later. Okay. I hope so too. I really do. But if you get an opportunity, I want you guys to go watch The Pivot. I want you to watch that interview, because even through there's some uncomfortable, the part that we're talking about, I don't even think that that's the worst part of the interview. There's other red flags in there too. There really is. So if I see some people bring the point up, we can talk about it. But I really want you to go listen for yourself. Because this guy, yes, he does have some insecurities. He openly has some insecurities. And rightfully so. Any of us can have insecurities. But if you're going to marry a person, I hope that you will be attracted to them. You're a newlywed. If you're going to be a newlywed, I hope that you're still feeling some of that new love. I didn't get that with this. I didn't get that in this interview. I really didn't. And there's one thing that I'll share with you. And it's like maybe 40 minutes or so within the interview. I'm almost near the end, because the interview is about an hour. And he talked about, she had sent him a picture where she had done like a split. So she had her leg up against her head. Now, I can't do that. And this is Simone Biles, who is the greatest, but just think about this for a minute. So she sent, like he said, she'll just be doing splits or whatever the case may be. And she sent him a picture where her leg was up in the air, you know, against her face. And he was like, "Bruh, what you doing? Bruh, why would you do that?" Okay, now stay with me here and understand what I'm thinking. And tell me if I'm wrong. But men typically will sexualize anything. And if a woman sends you a picture with her leg up at her face, you understand what I'm saying. But this is your wife, okay? And he was like, "Bruh, what are you doing?" Okay, second red flag. Why the fuck are you calling your wife bruh? Let me tell you something. I'm not feeling this thing. Maybe I'm taking it too far, but that's why I said I want y'all to watch this yourself. I don't even think the parts that we're talking about is the only red flag. To me, by the time you calling me bruh and I'm your wife, you not get like kids do that a lot. They call each other bruh, but you cannot we not get ready to be in a relationship and I'm a woman and you calling me bruh. It's not happening. I don't I don't hear the attraction. I don't hear it. I hear and I heard that your interest was when you saw how many followers she had. So it seems like a come up to me. That's that's my opinion. All right. Veronica says right. How you doing, Veronica Brockington in the house with us? Good to have you in here. Kimberly says his energy was very much the world might be in awe of her, but she's in awe of me. And Simone just sat there smitten and looks like she's used to his arrogance. He is stuck in his whole I'm the prize mode. I think I'm the whole wait. I think I'm the prize thing is overused. Yeah, I see it here. Absolutely. Like I feel like to me, because everyone is in such awe of her, he seems like he wants to peg her down. Like, okay, yeah, y'all think she all that, you know, but she was after me. He taking that the wrong way. Like he should be absolutely flattered beyond anything. But he feeling like the prize, Mr. Light Eyes. That's how he feel. Okay. Let's see, keep the faith with Tori. She says, "Ooh wee, I hate when I am called bruh." Exactly. I'm not your bruh. And you definitely not get ready to be my husband and calling me bruh. No. No, 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 no. She also says, or chick. You're not getting ready to do that. It's crazy. Kimberly's like, yep, yep, yep. So this guy who is really insecure, really, really insecure, and he's got this woman who is really, really great. And you got to understand too that there could be some codependency things going on here because she is a wonderfully great athlete in person, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have her own issues too. She's also a young lady who is a foster child, and that might be where they're bonding in some codependency type ways. I'm no psychologist, so don't listen to me. But everybody has their opinion, and that's just what I'm thinking. That's what I get. Those are the vibes I get, you know? It's crazy. But he feel like he's the prize. I'm like, "Boy, if you don't sit your light eyes down somewhere, please do. Please do." Also, let's see. We had some other things we were talking about this year. Mr. Jonathan Majors. Mr. Jonathan Majors to the front of the building, please. Mr. Jonathan Majors, what y'all think about that? They found him innocent of 2 of the charges. We're not talking about the fact that he was found innocent of 2 of the charges. He was found guilty of 2 of the charges. All right. So I hope you guys by now you've had an opportunity to read a bit through this or have a better understanding. What do you guys feel? You feel like he was railroaded? You feel I've heard people feel like, hey, he got what he deserved. I feel some people think that he should have been found guilty. Some feel like he was railroaded. Some saying he shouldn't have been playing with the snow bunnies. I don't know. That's what y'all were talking about. All in these internet streets. That's what you were talking about. All right. How you feel? How you feel? Let's see. We got Stacy say CXS was certainly in the house. What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? And I see we got Miss Veronica. She says now the snow bunny. Yeah. Yeah. Some people are taking that take on it. They're like, hey, the brother said he wanted a woman who was like a Coretta Scott King, a Michelle Obama, but he was dating a snow bunny. Now, how you gon' what you was thinking? If you wanted a great black woman, you should have been dating a great black woman. Right? Hey, listen, that's what the people say. That's what y'all saying out here in these internet streets. That's what you're saying. You're saying he shouldn't, what he's going through, he shouldn't be going through. Precious Pearl here says, I feel guilty because my knee jerk is to side with Majors. You don't have to feel guilty for your opinion. None of us do. We unfortunately, we don't know all of the evidence that they saw in the courtroom. We don't. But I certainly think that, he's being treated in a way that we don't see a lot of people in the industry necessarily being treated. But if he did some wrong things and if the jury found them to be wrong, we're going to have to go with that. We don't have a choice. There's evidence that we're not privy to. Yeah, there's some things that we saw because the internet put some things out. We saw what was going, the things that he was, I think the two counts that he was found guilty on, I think were based on when we saw him putting her back in the truck or trying to put her back in the truck. And perhaps that's how he injured her in a reckless way, not an intentional way. So the jury didn't think that he injured her intentionally. But I don't know. We get ourselves in these situations. We get ourselves in some situations that just are not smart. And based on the conversation that we were hearing, I think it was I don't know if it was a voice message or how their conversation was recorded, but the way in which he was speaking to her was a little, it sounded very toxic. It did sound toxic. Toxic conversation sometimes leads to toxic actions. They do. So I could hear it, but I can't say because he's arrogant or because he was having that toxic conversation that I can't say what he did to her. But I certainly know from anyone talking to me that way that I feel like, some actions are going to follow that. So that would make me not want to be in that situation or be with that person. So that's a conversation for me that is red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. I'm getting out of here. I don't want to deal with this guy. No. So it sounded very toxic. And people were like, well, he was running away from her. You saw him running down the street. Well, yeah, we did see that. And because I could hear the manipulation in the conversation, and this is just where my mind goes. I'm not at all saying I'm right. But this is where my mind goes for my safety. If this guy talked to me this way, Like I said, red flag. I hear that this is not a person I want to be around because I hear that he's about to hit me. Like I hear the hit. Okay? I hear that. But also, in my mind, seeing him run down the street, that didn't mean necessarily that I still didn't necessarily feel that he was innocent necessarily because I can hear that he's manipulative. He knows, and we all knows that there are cameras everywhere on the streets. Okay? So he would want to look like he running. That's where my mind goes. Now I could be wrong. And this is just my opinion. But that didn't make just seeing him run from her didn't make me feel like he was running from a crazy woman. I thought they both were toxic. Both of them, you know? Let's see in the comments here. Veronica said, I also said he only got Megan for the trial. Ooh, well, Megan good. I don't know if what she's doing right now is good. I don't know if she's in a good situation. But it certainly didn't work out good for the trial like what may have been perceived. And I don't know what I think about that necessarily. I don't. We don't. We'll have to hear that from Megan. But I will say this, because we don't know the dynamics of their relationship. But anytime you're going through something, and he definitely, if we do this thing by the law, in a court of law, the internet might feel one way, but he has to be presumed innocent, okay, until proven guilty. And everybody needs a friend. So if she was being a friend to him, beyond whatever could be relationship or romantic, whatever the case may be, but if she was being a friend to him and everybody needs a friend and he's definitely going through something very, very traumatic, and she was there for him under those circumstances, well, I can understand that. People do need somebody. And I do, but I also know optics. Optics again. Think about the optics. So he goes in there with Megan Good. Looking good, looking like how they should look, like a nice, good, wholesome couple. Optics. So he thinks about optics, which is why I didn't necessarily feel like him running down the street was necessarily automatic innocence. We let this play out in court. Because optics. He knew what it looked like running down the street like that. And he was running. Like he could have been making a movie. He know the cameras. All right. So think about that too. All right. But she said, yes, due process. Yeah, they got to have it. They got to have it. And he showed up in court with a black woman. He in court because of a snow bunny. But he took a black woman on his arm to the trial. I'm not making this stuff up. Y'all saw the same things that I saw. And that's what it was. So in these internet streets, we've been doing all these things. We went from Will and Jada, Casey, Diddy, T-Day Jakes, Red Pill, Blue Pill. Y'all talk about The Color Purple now because y'all went to the movies and saw that over the weekend. We talking about that. Taraji talking about the pay and how she almost didn't do Color Purple and talking about women in the industry and pay in the industry. That's a whole conversation that I like to have. I don't know what conversations we should leave behind. But if we're going to have a conversation, I feel like we need to talk about things that are going to show different points of view. Don't necessarily worry about the gossip of it. Take these as talking points where you can have a conversation with your young people, your young adults, your nieces, your nephews, your own young adult kids. so that you can have a conversation and prepare them for certain lessons that they might need. That's what I wanna do. And I also have the conversation because I know that there are young people who don't have that mother or have that auntie or that uncle who will be honest with them and say, "Listen, baby, if that young man is telling me that you XYZ, da 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 da, and I hear that, listen, baby, that's a red flag." A lot of people don't have people who will do that. They don't have that family member who will do that. Oh, that's their business. Let's stay out of it. That's their business. That's their relationship. You need to know that that's toxic. And if seeing some of these stories and seeing some of these relationships that are playing out in these internet streets with these celebrities, if there's a lesson that you can relate to and it kind of hits you, the reason why it's hitting you like that and that you're relating to it like that is because there's something going on. You're a little familiar with that. And so you need to be paying attention to the red flags in your life and making sure that you're safe. That's what I feel. All right. I see we got Cope in the house. How you doing, Cope? Maybe he just gave more black friends. Hmm, I'm not I think we're talking about Jonathan. Maybe we're talking about Jonathan. Maybe he needs to have more black friends, maybe. Okay, Malik says, not for nothing, but your mind had put together a whole scenario, but it could be absolutely wrong. That's opinion and how wild it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. This is all opinion. This is all opinion. But you need to be able, for yourself, be able to analyze a feeling and trust your gut. Be able to analyze that and say, hey, something about this is not right. Something around here look crazy. Right? I see Keep the Faith Victoria says your facial expressions are so funny. Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having I'm just having a conversation. I really don't know. But listen, guys, nobody knows what's going on in any of these stories more than the players themselves. And some of them, other people do know. Uh, in the case of these things going to trial and being in court, we've got to let the jurors make the decision based on the evidence that's being presented to them. But there's some common sense things that we just need to pay attention to. We do. We do. I don't want to falsely accuse anyone of anything. And I'm also not going to deny what looks strange to me. I'm going to say that. I see we got Malik here. He says, I'm a Virgo. We definitely overanalyze everything. You do. You do. And it's okay. Sometimes that could be a good thing. It could be a good thing as long as you don't allow that over analyzation and all of that stuff going on in your head to put you in a freeze mode. So now you can't make a decision because you've just got stuff everywhere. You don't know where to go. So, you know. But I like to think about things. I do. Not a Virgo though. That's it, guys. That's it. We've been talking about a whole lot of things, and we're gonna go into the new year. We're gonna have more conversations, but we want to make sure that they are useful, they are productive. They're not about the gossip. Know that these are our opinions. Talk It Out Tuesday. All right. Talk It Out Tuesday with Tori and Miss Tanya. We're gonna make sure that Tori gets well and she'll be back on here with all of us again, and we'll have some more conversations. I got in here and I got so into the conversation that I was off my game, and we didn't even do the breath work coming in here. But we certainly are going to do the breath work going out. I want to thank you guys for a wonderful, wonderful year. I've had fun bringing this to you guys. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to ask you guys to make sure that you bring some people over here. Tell them we're having real conversations. that they're a part of the conversation. All right? It's for all of us. Make sure you get back into your day. I don't want nobody out here. I don't want y'all to get well, maybe some people might still be off. I don't know, but I know there's some people who had to go to work. But if you're on your lunch break, get back to your work. All right. Want you to do that. A couple more comments. I see Stacy says, great content. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate you. We're gonna keep doing this thing. We're gonna keep having these conversations. Richard, he says, yeah, JM got set up, in my opinion. And I was saying earlier that he brought the sister to court because maybe he has more Black friends, and I see nothing wrong with her supporting her friend. Absolutely. And I did say that. I feel like everyone needs a friend. And if she was in the courtroom, and obviously she was being a friend to him because, she's also a part of the industry, and this could reflect a certain way on her career, but she was being more of a friend to him, and she showed up for him. And she was right there with him, holding his hand there. So whether it is romantic or otherwise, she did show us that she was there for him. We saw that. So we're going to end on that note with the conversations we had for 2023. We're going to go into 2024 and make sure that we're going to keep having good conversations. I'm easy to find, guys. I'm very, very easy to find at Miss Tanya TV. All right. Make sure you guys also check out. Let me bring this up for you. Check out the Brown South Girls podcast. We're also here. We broadcast here the last Sunday of the month. Okay. We may or may not come this last Sunday, because it happens to fall on the holiday, which is New Year's Eve. So I don't want to have you guys, I don't want to take up time on your New Year's Eve, but if you feel like you're going to be at home and you want to do an episode of the Brown South Girls podcast, well, I'm going to put up a post, and maybe I'll see how many people want to come in with us, and then we might do it. And then I also got to ask KJ. So I got to ask KJ as well. I think I'll have to do that. But you can find us. You see us there. Go to that platform, Go ahead and make sure you tell your friends, tell your mama, your cousins, all of them. Find us there, because there's going to be a lot more content coming your way. We've got set up for you guys so many wonderful guests that I'm excited about. Big guests. This is where we've been wanting to take the Brown South Girls podcast. We've got really great people to talk to. We've got some really great surprises for you in this new year. So watch out for us. All right. All right, y'all. I said it once before. I'm saying it for the last time. I'm about to get out of here. But before we get out of here, let me find something else for you. We need to do this breath work. This is the last time we're going to do some breath work in this 2023. All right, y'all? One love. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Well, don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. All right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.